Arrested in Boone County? Did you just get out of the Boone County jail and now are struggling to find some answers on what happens next? Well, in Boone County, if you are arrested on a crime, it's very often that you're going to be released either on your own recognizance or you're going to have to pay a bond, especially if it's a misdemeanor. Now, things can be a little bit more complicated if you're charged with a felony. Oftentimes, on felony cases, the court is actually going to want you to make your first appearance before setting a bond, meaning if you get arrested, you're going to be sitting in jail until your first court hearing. At that court hearing, judge will kind of review some of the bond conditions, set a bond, and then at that point, you can actually pay that bond to be released. Now, there is kind of circumstances in which you get around that by hiring an attorney who's familiar with Boone County, of course. So if you have a felony arrest warrant or you do end up in jail in Boone County because of a felony, an experienced criminal defense attorney who works in Boone County all the time can oftentimes reach out to the prosecutor, try to see if there's an agreed upon bond between the prosecutor and your attorney, and then at that point they can file something with the court. A lot of times this can actually shorten the amount of time that you're in jail. But once you're released, what's going to end up happening next is you're going to be charged with a crime, presumably, and then various court hearings are going to be set. The first of which is your initial hearing. The initial hearing where the judge tells you what you're charged with, what the potential penalties are, and then asks you what's the game plan for hiring an attorney. Hopefully at this point, prior to your initial hearing, you've already hired an attorney, or in most cases, that attorney can save you the trip for the initial hearing. Now, one of the great things about Boone County, if you hire a private attorney, especially one like us at the Marc Lopez law firm who's very familiar with dealing in Boone County, most of the preliminary court hearings, the pretrial conferences, kind of check-in hearings with the court, the judge will allow us to do those hearings with the prosecutor and then just kind of report to the judge. In other words, it saves you a trip to the courthouse for a hearing that's not going to take but 30 seconds. And why imagine they would do this? Well, because the Boone County judges and the prosecutors understand you have a life as well. There's probably a million other things you'd rather be doing than sitting in a courtroom for 45 minutes for a 30-second hearing. So the court allows the private attorneys to kind of work with the prosecutors. Hey, just want to make sure a case is moving. Report to the judge. Bang. We can cover a lot of those preliminary hearings without you ever having to appear in court. So if you find yourself arrested in Boone County, give us a call at the Marc Lopez law firm, 317-632-3642. And remember, always plead the fifth.